Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's do the review. What's the plural of life? What's the plural of life?
The plural of life is lives.
Do you think the lives of the poor are happier than those of the rich? Do you think the lives of the poor are happier than those of the rich? Yes. I think the lives of the poor are happier than those of the rich. Than those of the rich. Make a sentence with the word although in it. Make a sentence with the word although in it. Although the food was not very nice, I ate it because I was hungry. Although you are now able to hold a simple conversation in English, do you think you should keep studying? Although you are now able to hold a simple conversation in English, do you think you should keep studying? Yes, although I'm now able to hold a simple conversation in English, I think I should keep studying. Are some people always happy although they have problems in their lives? Are some people always happy although they have problems in their lives? Yes, some people are always happy although they have problems. They have problems in their lives. Is there a restaurant near here that cooks tasty food? Is there a restaurant near here that cooks tasty food?
I don't know
if there is a restaurant near here that cooks tasty food. Is it difficult to cook pasta? Is it difficult to cook pasta? No, it isn't difficult to cook pasta. It's easy. It's easy. Are you a good cook? Are you a good cook? Yes, I'm a good cook. Do you think that all the countries of the world should be independent? Do you think that all the countries of the world should be independent? Yes, I think all the countries of the world should be independent. Do many European languages have their origins in Latin? Do many European languages have their origins in Latin? Yes, many European languages have their origins in Latin. Why don't you take this book home with you after the lesson? Why don't you take this book with you home after the lesson? I don't take that book with me.
It belongs to you.
After the lesson? Because it doesn't belong to me. Who does that book belong to? Who does that book belong to? This book belongs to me. If a factory belonged to you, do you think you would be able to make a lot of money? If a factory belonged to you, do you think you would be able to make a lot of money? Yes. If a factory belonged to me, I think I would be able to make a lot of money. What can we use instead of would be able in conditional sentences? What can we use instead of would be able in conditional sentences? We can use could instead of would be able in conditional sentences. Give me an example, please. Give me an example, please. If I was a bird, I could fly. Now I'm going to ask you some questions with could, and you answer with would be able and vice versa. If you were very, very tall, could you touch the ceiling? If you were very, very tall, could you touch the ceiling? Yes. If I were very, very tall, I would be able to touch the ceiling. If you were a doctor, would you be able to help people who were ill? If you were a doctor, would you be able to help people who were ill? Yes. If I were a doctor, I could help people who were ill. If you were as strong as a horse, could you lift a man above your head with only one hand? If you were as strong as a horse, could you lift a man above your head with only one hand? Yes. If I were as strong as a horse, I would be able to lift a man above my head with only one hand. What am I going to do? Well, where's my bag? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? You are going to throw your pencil at the window. Your pencil at the window. Do you think you could throw a stone further than I can? Do you think you could throw a stone further than I can? Yes, I think I could throw a stone further than you can. Is Napoleon alive? Is Napoleon alive? No, Napoleon isn't alive. He's dead. What am I doing? What am I doing? You're dropping your pencil on the table. What's the pencil doing? What's the pencil doing? The pencil is dropping on the table. What would happen if I drop the glass on the floor? What would happen if I drop the glass on the floor? If you dropped a glass on the floor, it would break. What's the longest you have ever gone without drinking a drop of water? What's the longest you have ever gone without drinking a drop of water? The longest I've ever gone without drinking a drop of water is 1 day. What happened to President Kennedy? What happened to President Kennedy? President Kennedy was assassinated. Did anything unusual happen to you yesterday? Did anything unusual happen to you yesterday? No, nothing unusual happened to me yesterday. Is it usual for people in your country to eat hot food for breakfast? Is it usual for people in your country to eat hot food for breakfast? No, it isn't usual for people in my country to eat hot food for breakfast. Is it unusual for children to find coffee tasty? Is it unusual for children to find coffee tasty? Yes, it's unusual for children to find coffee tasty. What's the difference between still and yet? What's the difference between still and yet? The difference between still and yet is that we use still for something that's in progress at the moment, whereas we use yet for something that has not begun or happened. We generally use still in positive sentences, whereas we generally use yet in questions and negative sentences. Give some examples, please. Give me some examples, please. It's still winter. It isn't spring yet. Has the lesson finished yet? Has the lesson finished yet? No, the lesson hasn't finished yet. It's still in progress. Have we finished speaking yet? Have we finished speaking yet? No, we haven't finished speaking yet. We're still speaking. Have they gone home yet? Have they gone home yet? No, they haven't gone home yet. They're still here. Has the spring begun yet? Has the spring begun yet? No, the spring hasn't begun yet. It's still winter. Will I still be in this country in 2 weeks' time? Will I still be in this country in 2 weeks' time? Yes, you'll still be in this country in 2 weeks' time. Are the bottoms of your shoes clean? Are the bottoms of your shoes clean? No, the bottoms of my shoes aren't clean. They're dirty. When our shoes are dirty, what should we do? When our shoes are dirty, what should we do? When our shoes are dirty, we should clean them. Which do you think is the cleanest city you know of? Which do you think is the cleanest city you know of? I think Gramado is the cleanest city I know of. And which do you think is the dirtiest? And which do you think is the dirtiest? I think Salvador is the dirtiest. Which do you think is less unpleasant? The dirt of the city or the dirt of the country, of the farm, etc.? Which do you think is less unpleasant? The dirt of the city or the dirt of the country, of the farm, etc.? I think the dirt of the farm is less unpleasant than the dirt of the city. Do you remember if you were afraid of the dark when you were a little child? Do you remember if you were afraid of the dark when you were a little child? Yes? No? Yes, I remember I was afraid of the dark when I was a little child. Would you be afraid to go round the world in a small open boat? Would you be afraid to go round the world in a small open boat? Yes, I would be afraid to go round the world in a small open boat. Do people shake when they feel very afraid? Do people shake when they feel very afraid? Yes. People shake when they feel very afraid. What's the best way to guard against becoming ill? What's the best way to guard against becoming ill? The best way to guard against becoming ill is to eat. is to
eat
healthy food, sleep well, and do exercise. Must we be on our guard when we buy something from a man selling things in the street? Must we be on our guard when we buy something from a man selling things in the street? Yes, we must be on our guard when we buy something from a man selling things in the street. Why? Because maybe we won't be able to find him again. If there's a problem with the thing we've bought. What's the opposite of on your guard? What's the opposite of on your guard? The opposite of on your guard is off your guard. What's the best way to calm somebody down when he's very angry? What's the best way to calm somebody down when he's very angry? The best way to calm somebody down when he's very angry is to speak quietly and pleasantly to him. Are we having calm weather at the moment? Yes. We are having calm weather at the moment. What are the two ways of forming the second condition with the verb to be? What are the two ways of forming the second conditional with the verb to be? The two ways of forming the second conditional with the verb to be are if I was and if I were. If you were a millionaire, where would you live? If you were a millionaire, where would you live? If I were a millionaire, I would live in a farm. Why? Because I love a farm. If I were you, which language would I speak? If I were you, which language would I speak? If you were me, you would speak Portuguese. If you were a king, what would your wife be called? If you were a king, what would your wife be called? If I were a king, my wife would be called a queen. If there wasn't a light in this room, would we be able to see well when it got dark? If there wasn't a light in this room, would we be able to see well when it got dark? No. If there wasn't a light in this room, we wouldn't be able to see well when it got dark. We would see badly. If there weren't any food in the world, would we all die? If there weren't any food in the world, would we all die? Yes. If there weren't any food in the world, we would all die. If you weren't you, who would you like to be? If you weren't you, who would you like to be? If I weren't me, I would like to be me. Why? Because I love myself. Good. New word. Say after me. If I were you. Advice.
If I were you.
Yes. Advice. Expression. Specially. We say, if I were you, when we want to give advice to somebody, especially when we think perhaps there is a problem. For example, if I were you, I would go to see a doctor, or I wouldn't open that door if I were you. Okay, so we use if I were you in two situations. When we talk about conditionals, for example, it's not that. We use if I were you to talk about advice, to give suggestions. For example, it's cold outside. If I were you, I would wear a coat. Or for example, you don't seem well. If I were you, I would go to the doctor. Okay? And advice is synonym of suggestion. So when you give suggestions to somebody, you give advices. If I were you, I would travel more. If I were you, I would study English every day. If I were you, I would go to parties, things like that, okay?
Okay.
Advice, suggestions, things that you would suggest to somebody. Expression. If I were you is an expression in English because it's a small sentence that goes together. Specially is an adverb. We have the adjective special and the adverb especially. Yes, for example, I wear thick clothes, especially in winter. Okay? So let's go. Can we use the expression, if I were you to give advice to somebody? Can we use the expression, if I were you to give advice to somebody? Yes, we can use the expression. If I were you. If I were you, to give advice to somebody. Give me an example, please. Give me an example, please. If I were you, I would eat more vegetables. I would eat more vegetables. Or I wouldn't buy that car if I were you. What's the biggest problem in your life at the problem? What's the biggest problem in your life at the moment? The biggest problem in my life at the moment is that I lost my dogs. So, okay. Okay, let's suppose I lost my dog. So give me some advice, please. Give me some advice, please. If I were you, I would buy more dogs. No, I have enough dogs. So if I were you, I would let the time pass.
Yes.
Okay, let the time pass. So say after me. Win. Won. Lottery. Okay. So win is a verb, and the verb win has three forms. Win, won. Okay, so win is the opposite of lose. So yes, and win is the present, won is the past, and won is the participle. Yes, and lottery is a game. Yes, some people do the lottery to try to earn some money, but you have to be very lucky to win the lottery. Okay, so what's another opposite of the verb lose besides find? What's another opposite of the verb lose besides fight? Another opposite of the verb lose besides find is win. What are the three forms of win? The three forms of win are win, won. Does your country usually win at football? Yes, my country usually wins at football. Do you do the lottery? Yes, no? Yes, I do the lottery. Have you ever won? No? Yes? No. I've never won. If you won £1 million, what would you do with it? If you won £1 million, what would you do with it? If I won £1 million, I would buy a farm. So say after me. Useful, useless, possess. Okay. So useful is an adjective. For example, if I use this pencil, it's because the pencil is useful. But if I don't use it, it's useless without use. Okay? With use, it's useful. Without use, it's useless. For example, I have many useful things. I have my computer, I have my cell phone. I use them a lot, so they are useful for me. But there are things that I don't use. They are useless for me. For example, I don't use a car because I don't like to drive. So for me, a car is useless because I prefer to take Uber. For you is useful. Yes, I prefer public transport, Uber, or a motorbike like with Leonardo. So for me, a car is useless because I don't like to drive. And possess is a verb. It's synonym of have. I have a book. I possess a book. Okay, when we talk about possessions. I have a book. I possess.
Posse.
Yes, it's a verb. Okay? Possession is what you said, and possess is a verb. Correct. So, is this pencil useless? Is this pencil useless?
Yes.
No. Useless?
No.
This pencil
this pencil
isn't useless. It's useful. What do we do with useless things? What do we do with useless things? We throw useless things away. What are the two most useful things you possess? What are the two most useful things you possess? The two most useful things I possess are my cell phone and my computer, my car, and my bed, my house. My house. Good. Do you think that what you're learning now will be useful to you later on in life? Do you think that what you're learning now will be useful to you later on in life? Yes, I think that what I'm learning now will be useful to me later on in life. Why? Because it will help me get work and speak to people from other countries. Good. Open your book at lesson 63, please. This time I can sit, but I will not. Let's read together. Are the bottoms of your shoes clean? No, the bottoms of my shoes aren't clean. They're dirty. When our shoes are dirty, what should we do? When our shoes are dirty, we should clean them. Which do you think is the cleanest city you know of? I think Gramado is the cleanest city I know of. And which do you think is the dirtiest? I think Salvador is the dirtiest. Which do you think is less unpleasant? The dirt of the city or the dirt of the country, of the farm, etc.? I think the dirt of the farm is less unpleasant than the dirt of the city. Do you remember if you were afraid of the dark when you were a little child? Yes, I remember I was afraid of the dark when I was a little child. Would you be afraid to go round the world in a small open boat? Yes, I would be afraid to go round the world in a small open boat. Do people shake when they feel very afraid? Yes, people shake when they feel very afraid. What's the best way to guard against becoming ill? The best way to guard against becoming ill is to eat healthy food, sleep well, and do exercise. Must we be on our guard when we buy something from a man selling things in the street? Yes, we must be on our guard when we buy something from a man selling things in the street. Why? Because maybe we won't be able to find him again if there's a problem with the thing we've bought. What's the opposite of on your guard? The opposite of on your guard is off your guard. What's the best way to calm somebody down when he's very angry? The best way to calm somebody down when he's very angry is to speak quietly and pleasantly to him. Are we having calm weather at the moment? Yes, we are having calm weather at the moment. What are the two ways of forming the second conditional with the verb to be? The two ways of forming the second conditional with the verb to be are if I was and if I were. If you were a millionaire, where would you live? If I were a millionaire, I would live in a farm. Why? Because I love farms. If I were you, which language would I speak? If you were me, you would speak Portuguese. If you were a king, what would your wife be called? If I were a king, my wife would be called a queen. If there wasn't a light in this room, would we be able to see well when it got dark? No, if there wasn't a light in this room, we wouldn't be able to see well when it got dark. We would see badly. If there weren't any food in the world, would we all die? Yes, if there weren't any food in the world, we would all die. If you weren't you, who would you like to be? If I weren't me, I would like to be me. Why? Because I love myself. Why just songs? Can we use the expression if I were you to give advice to somebody? Yes, we can use the expression if I were you to give advice to somebody. Give me an example, please. If I were you, I would eat more vegetables. Or I wouldn't buy that car if I were you. What's the biggest problem in your life at the moment? The biggest problem in my life at the moment is that I lost my dogs. Give him or her some advice, please. If I were you, I would let the time pass. What's another opposite of the verb lose besides find? Another opposite of the verb lose besides find is win. What are the three forms of win? The three forms of win are win, won, won. Does your country usually win at football? Yes, my country usually wins at football. Do you do the lottery? The lottery, yes, I do the lottery. Have you ever won? No, I've never won. If you won £1,000,000, what would you do with it? Would you do with it? If I won £1,000,000, I would buy a farm. Is this pen useless? No. This pen isn't useless. It's useful. What do we do with useless things? We throw useless things away. What are the two most useful things you possess? The two most useful things. The two most useful things I possess are my car and my house. Do you think that what you're learning now will be useful to you later on in life? Yes, I think that what I'm learning now will be useful to me later on in life. Why? Because it will help me get work and speak to people from other countries. Dictation 38. Dictation. In the struggle, comma. In the struggle. In the struggle, comma.
Struggle.
Yes. Comma. The enemy were surrounded. The enemy were surrounded. The enemy were surrounded. Surrounded. At great speed. At great speed. At great speed. And were taken by surprise. And were taken by surprise. And were taken by surprise. Without their swords. Without their swords. Without their swords. In their hands. Full stop. In their hands. In their hands. Full stop. I won't buy him. I won't buy him. I won't buy him a newspaper again. Full stop. A newspaper again. A newspaper again. Full stop. Fetch me the salad bowl, comma, please, full stop. Fetch me the salad bowl, please. Fetch me the salad bowl, comma, please, full stop.
The salad
Bowl, comma, please, full stop.
Please.
He is sorry that he sold his old house, comma. He is sorry that he sold his old house. He is sorry that he sold.
He sold.
Yes, his old house, comma.
His
Old house,
old house.
comma. Which was in a quiet road, full stop. Which was in a quiet road. Which was in a quiet road, full stop.
Quiet
Road, full stop.
road.
The house he has now. The house he has now. The house he has now is in a very noisy street, comma. Is in a very noisy street. Is in a very noisy street, comma. And so he must try, and so he must try, and so he must try,
Must try.
and find another, comma, and find another, and find another,